This is Adam Yunker, Lab 4 for Mech 140 Computer Programming. The purpose of this lab is to use the analog inputs and the PWM pulse width modulation outputs of the Arduino here. For my analog inputs, I'm using these 5 different potentiometers, and for my PWM output, I'm using this RGB LED. So what this program is basically a interactive blink program. And what I mean by interactive is that the user is able to interface with the Arduino basically and talk to it through these potentiometers. Each one of these sends a different signal to the Arduino telling it to do something different in the program. So for example, I will show you what this potentiometer is going to vary the amount of red in the color of the LED. This one, the amount of green in the color, and this one, the amount of blue in the color. This potentiometer here is going to tell the Arduino how long to keep the LED on for in its blink program. And this one will tell the Arduino how long to keep it off for in the blink program. So I'll show you an example. I'm going to turn it on. It's kind of difficult to see the color. Let me put this here. Kind of see the color a little bit better. Right now it's white, so basically the red, green, and the blue are all equally turned up to make it a white color. If I turn the blue all the way down and the green all the way down, all we have is red. If I turn the red all the way down, I can turn the green all the way up. There's the blue. And so basically I can combine these to make any color in between. If I combine blue with red, I'm going to get a purple-pink color, obviously. If I combine the red with the green, I'm going to get orange. The more green I add, the more yellow it gets. The more blue I add to the red, the more purple it gets. And if I add all three together equally, it makes a white light. So let me just set it to a cool color here. Do a nice pinky purple color. That'll work. And then over here, I can play with the blink. So right now, I have the right one all the way left, which means it's at 0. You can see in my serial monitor here, maybe. Oh, there you go. Kind of. There. It's kind of hard to read, but basically it's showing that the on value is at 20 and the off value is at 0. So the LED is staying off for 0 seconds. That's why it's on constantly. But anyways, back to these. If I turn this one up a little bit, it starts to blink. So now, right now I've got it set to being off for 77 milliseconds and on for 105 milliseconds, and I can play with this. So I'll leave this one right where it's at, and I'll just vary this one. You can see what happens. As I turn it up, the length of the off blink is increasing. As I turn it down, the length of the off blink decreases all the way down to 0. I can do the same thing with the on blink. Right now it's all the way up. Start turning it down. Start turning it up, I'm sorry. It starts blinking on for a longer amount of time. I have them both all the way up. It'll blink equally at 500 milliseconds apiece, because that's what I have the time set for right now. I can set the range on those with one input on the program. Right now it's set to 500. But yeah, so that's my program. It's just a fun little LED program. Get to play with an LED. It's hard for the camera to catch the really fast blinks. You can see it with your eye really well, and it looks really cool. But for some reason, the camera can't really keep up. So that's how it works. Here, I'll show you my code a little bit and kind of show you what's going on with the code here. Very difficult to read. There we go. Close the serial window. So up here I got my variables. Using an array to designate the LED and the potentiometer. Pin mode and the setup. Setting up the serial print here and the serial begin. In the loop, basically all it does is it acquires a value for the red, green, and the blue. It reads the potentiometer for the red, reads the potentiometer for the green, and B, it reads the on potentiometer, and then it reads the off potentiometer. So the first thing it does is it reads the potentiometers. Then what it does is it takes the value it just read and it maps it to a value I can use to assign color. The PWM output only can output a value from 0 to 255, but the input receives a value from 0 to 123. So basically what I'm doing is assigning this range to this range. So 0 on this range equals 0 on this range. 1023 on this range equals 255. So it's just basically converting into a number I can use. Same with the green and the blue. The on value is converting the input 0 to 1023 into my max delay, which is the top end of my range, and I can change that by going up here and changing that in my variables. So I can change that range. Then what it does after it creates a usable value, it prints the on value and it prints the off value so that I can use my, where'd my focus go? There. So that I can use my serial window to see what kind of blink it's doing. Then after it does that, it analog right here, it assigns the actual pin to each color a voltage from 0 to 255 on the PWM scale. Then what it does is it comes down here, and basically all this is saying when I'm using this if statements to tell it how to blink. Basically right here. So basically delay for on value, digital write power low, and then delay for off value. So on for this long and then off for this long. And these other ones are just conditions saying if the potentiometer is at 0, so it knows what to do when the potentiometers are all the way off. Even though it's not getting an input, it will know what to do. So yeah, that's my entire program. Thank you very much.